Hi, I'm Dave Vickers and welcome to the Photo Show. In today's episode, we're going to look at one of the most anticipated and notable cameras of 2017 so far, the Panasonic Lumix GH5. Remember, if you like what you see on the Photo Show, please comment, like and subscribe in the boxes below. Let's have a look at the specifications for the Panasonic Lumix GH5. So the Panasonic GH5, it was originally announced last year at Photokina in Germany back in October. And now at CES in Las Vegas in the last week, Panasonic have announced all the specifications and the release date for the camera for 2017. Now the GH5 is going to be the replacement for the highly popular and much lauded GH4 camera. That's been around for about 2.5 years now, and it's been loved by photographers and especially video makers around the world as being such a great camera. And now Panasonic have upped the game and released the GH5 as its natural successor and replacement. The camera's actually going to be released on the 30th of March 2017, but they are taking pre-orders now for the camera. So specifications on the Panasonic GH5. It's a micro four thirds mirrorless camera. It's got a brand new sensor in it, which is now a 20.3 megapixel, which is up from the original 16 on the GH4. It's got improved ISO capabilities, and the ISO range on the GH5 is ISO 200 up to 25,600, and that's for both stills and video. And it handles better the higher ISO than the GH4 did. The body size is slightly larger than the GH4, but it is a weather sealed body, and apparently it's also freeze proof. So it's a lot of specs on the body there as well. Within the camera, they've put a 5-axis image stabilization, which also works in conjunction with image stabilizing lenses. So whether you're using IS lenses or not, there's image stabilization built into the camera that will work with IS lenses as well. It's got a brand new 225-point autofocus system with focus tracking, and it also has a touchscreen focus pull. So if you're shooting video, you can actually press the touchscreen and let the camera focus from one point to another to give that smooth cinematic focus pull that you get on high-end cinema cameras. With still shooting, it shoots at 12 frames per second for still shooting. Camera's got a fully articulated screen on the body, so you can turn it completely around if you want to use it for a vlogging camera or that kind of style of thing. It's also a touch screen on the body. Apparently it's one of the best electronic viewfinders that's been made so far. So it's not an optical viewfinder because it's a mirrorless camera, so it's an electrical viewfinder. So it's basically a very tiny monitor within the viewfinder that you're using. But apparently it's one of the best that's been made in any of the cameras so far. Maximum shutter speed of 1,800th of a second. So coming up there to DSLR ranges with the shutter speed there. The camera body has dual SD card slots, so you've got the dual slots there. You can either use for backup or one for images and one for video. The GH5 has a 6K photo mode. Previous Panasonic cameras have had what they called a 4K photo mode, and what that allowed you to do was shoot a section of 4K video and then choose individual frames to save as JPEG images. On the GH5 it's a 6K photo mode, so it'll shoot a short section of video, then allow you to pick individual frames that you can save as still images. And those still images will come out as 18 megapixel image files. So that's the still spec for the GH5. But that's not the whole story. The GH4 originally was lauded as one of the best video cameras within its range that has ever been produced. And the GH5 is upping the game for that. The video capabilities on this camera is really where it lies. So what have they got in the GH5? The GH5 now shoots 4K video at up to 60 frames per second. So you can now do slow motion in full 4K. At 1080 video, so full HD, it will shoot up to 180 frames a second. So really super slow motion can be gained from that as well. When it's shooting in 4K mode, it no longer crops the image. On the GH4, when it's shot in 4K, it just used a smaller portion of the sensor, which meant that the image was always cropped in. On the GH5, it's using the entire sensor size, so there's no cropping when you're filming in 4K. Another big step they've made with the GH5 is it's now an unlimited video recording time. A lot of cameras that aren't specifically video cameras have always been limited to an amount of time. There's been a lot of confusion as to why, but with the GH5, it's now unlimited recording time. So as long as the batteries and your memory cards are lasting, you've got unlimited video time with the GH5. It also has an HDR, high dynamic range video setting, so as well as a lot of other video log settings, which I don't profess to understand, but all the specs are out there if you want to be looking at sort of exactly what the shooting modes and codecs are for this camera. They're all available online to go and check out. Built into the camera as well, we have a mic and a headphone jack. So for video shooters who want to plug a mic straight into the camera and monitor the output, there's both a mic and a headphone jack in there as well. It has a full-size HDMI port as opposed to the smaller ones on previous cameras, and also has a USB 3 port as well for the fastest connection into your computer for downloading images directly from the camera or updating things like that. Connectivity wise, it has Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth and NFC, so all of the things that you're expecting on a modern day camera. So that's a basic rundown of the specs for the GH5. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this camera, and it'd be really great to see what people do with it video wise. I know the GH4 really kicked small camera video into a new era, and I think the GH5 is just going to up the game with that as well. Price wise, in the UK, the GH5 is going to be about £1,700 for the body only. In the US, that's going to come out at about $2,000 for the body only. But there are plenty of package deals with lenses as well going. And at the moment, because it's not actually available for sale until the 30th of March, they're just taking pre-orders for it. So if you're interested in finding out more about the camera or looking at pre-ordering it, there's some links in the bottom that you can click to, which will give you prices and pre-order details as well. So that's the rundown of the specs for the Panasonic GH5. I'd just like to say, if anyone from Panasonic or any of the UK camera suppliers are watching, I'd really like to try the GH5 when it's released as a stills camera. I think there's going to be plenty of people reviewing its video capabilities, but I'd really like to give it a go and see how it handles and how it feels as a stills camera and what the images actually look like. So if anyone out there thinks they can make that happen, please get in touch and we'll have a chat and see what we can do. But for now, I'm Dave Vickers. This is The Photo Show. Thanks for watching. See you next time.